Hello guys, today we're going to keep working on our wood gasifier. This video will mainly be testing it, but at first I need to replace a piece, more specifically the garbage bag which is supposed to be used for gas collection. I already took that off here, because the last one I used wasn't actually feasible for this application, as it was sewn shut, so it wasn't actually gas tight. So this thing we do is we take the end of this pipe and we coat it in a thin layer of hot glue. Well, it will need to be thick. Already on most of the thing, but some of it taken off, because it gets pretty hard to remove this afterwards without taking the hot glue off with it. Now we got this thing coated in hot glue. The next thing needs is a new garbage bag. This one is now welded shut on the seam, so it's at. We will need to let this dry for a second though, just so we need to cool it. Cool for a second so it's dry. That's not great. To put it. After that is done, we need this thing. This is this is a hot air fan. It's basically like a hairdryer, but significantly hotter, like a few hundred degrees hotter. In case you don't have that, you can also use a normal hairdryer with a broken temperature sensor. Or just remove the temperature sensor of an old hairdryer. This won't get as hot as this thing will get, but it will still be more than enough for this application. Then I need to take off my gloves for this real quick. Then we just fold this open at the top, like this. Then push this pipe tube into the middle of it. Need to open it up. This should protrude inward quite a bit. Few inches. Then we go roughly to like half the piece. And then grab it with a pair of tweezers. At that point, we wrap it to the up in front of it. Then we take that hot air and use it to basically weld it to the pipe. That should bring together and close off all of this hole and close off the hole. And the hot glue on the pipe is used to make it adhere to the pipe more easily, as this specific pipe is pretty flat, so it won't adhere very good without it. It should re-melt without process. Then you need to take all the normal air out of the thing. You can do it by just pulling it off the jar connector turning it helps, definitely. I think I might put some of this glue over the tube after putting it on there. And it should come off. A little bit of twisting. Thing is, I could run this much higher, but I think I would damage the lid with this. So now we just pull out the air. Climb off the tube and stick it back on here. You can see that there's already some like liquid in there. That's from a previous test. Well, the test where I discovered that the other bag isn't airtight. So now that that is done, we need to find a branch which fits neatly into this can. Of course, we can also stack a few small ones, but I think this is better. So, we just need to cut this off with a wood saw. Make a mark at this point, but I will cut it off a bit further down, so that I will still be able to put the lid on nicely. So now I cut it off. Like this. Alright. But this should now fit into this can. Now can put that lid on there. Yeah. Now we can put that on the slit up here. Then I cut some pieces of coat hangers and I bent them into a shape, the right shape. Kind of just seal this up a bit. This one's a bit of a pain to put on. Yeah, one works for you. Okay. Just to kind of stabilize the thing, because its own weight pulling down on this would make it pretty easy to pop off. Up there. Now, copper pipe is in a water bath, like always. And now, I basically just need to put this bag far away from here, and then make a fire in this can. For this, we just take a piece of newspaper, roll this up into a ball, like so. Put this down into the can. Then we take some thin twigs and we snap them into pieces. Like this. We put those on top of here. Then take up some bigger pieces of wood. pretty bendy, so it's hard to break off with my hand, so I put on the camera. Oh, wonderful. Okay, yeah, this is just very bendy. Maybe it's easier to just cut it off with my saw. And just angle those on top, leaning them up. Oh yeah, this breaks off easier. Against the wall of a can. That should be lined with holes at the bottom and at the top. I just throw in some of those tracks. Top of there. Oh, this looks like this. And this looks a bit messy. It should wait. I just need to quickly find out where I put the light here. Ah, yeah, it's right here. I just hold this through this hole here to light the paper. Just move this. And kind of over the fire like this. Then we just add wood and wait for it to get very hot. Put down there. This could also take a bit until we see anything happening. We're just gonna need to wait. I will probably need to speed up a few sections of this video to make it a normal length. Not just cut out parts, but I don't really like to cut out parts. So I'm probably just going to speed them up. Yeah. Now the fire is going good. Well, this seems to be going good. I mean, at least it's going. At all. Now we just need to wait a bit for that can to heat up. Then for that can to heat up the wooden side of that can. This can take a bit. You'll see that it starts working when we feel kind of water coming through that hose. But like I said, this can take a tiny bit of time. I'm just going to cut forward and to the point this happens. So now it started. You can you can see it here. There's some black liquid in here. You can see bubbles going through there, and you can see it's pushed up by the airflow and falling back down. That black liquid is a mixture of a few things. It includes sap, like the stuff you can see bubbling on this piece of twig. Like you can see bubbling on this piece of twig. Also contains a lot of water, which was in those pieces, which you can just contained in the wood because it's and also it never drops down to 0 basically. And some, and also it includes tar, which is why it's black, and some oils and resin, depending on what wood you used in the process. Also, ihr könnt auch sehen, dass dieses Glas mit dem weißen Rauch gefüllt ist. Eben, naja, so sieht es halt aus. Man kann schon ein bisschen, you can also see that it's just filling up with white smoke. There's already some gas in this bag. But to completely fill this, it will take a while. So, this is why you should keep the fire well fed, which I cannot really do too much of, because most of my wood is wet, like I told you. So this will die down in a bit. Still got some dry wood. Most of it is too wet to burn properly. So now about what can be done. You can see the black stuff is already in this too. So now what can be done with wood gas or syngas, depending on what you want. First of all, it can be used as syngas in a Fischer-Tropsch synthesization to make longer hydrocarbons, and all of it this is something I will probably do at some point, but that's still going to take a bit, because it's a bit complicated to do with the resources I have on hand. Another thing you can do is use it as a fuel. Can be burned and pretty easily. Burns if we have successfully removed all the tar and oils and other stuff which is collecting as a liquid here, and then it should burn with a nearly invisible flame. Well, in daylight, nearly invisible flame. If not, it will contain some yellow like a normal fire flame. From like a wood fire, paper fire or whatever. You can also run a generator of the stuff, theoretically, by just removing the air filter and letting this gas be sucked directly into the air intake. But I don't have a generator, and if you haven't, in this case you will need to do much more filtering than just cooling down the gas like I'm doing, because if any like tar or soot gets through, it can severely damage the generator. Also, I don't have a generator like this, so I won't probably not do it with a generator. But probably still use it for burning stuff. But mostly I just wanted to build this thing to collect the tar and other stuff which is being collected in this jar. By the way, the liquid in that jar stinks like hell. It smells very bad. I don't know. I guess that's video just cut out. I'm not sure when it happened, so I'm just going to play that again. What I said. So now production is stalling now, and we couldn't really produce a lot of the gas, but just that we will be able to produce some is a good thing, because it means that this reactor works. It will probably work much better if put into a bigger fire with bigger logs to burn. Not for now. This will kind of be enough as a proof of concept.